Welcome back. As you know, I'm Eli the Computer Guy here for the Daily Blob, where we give you the highest quality career advice that we can possibly find. And today's career advice is rather simple. I want you to go into your company. I want you to ping your peers on Slack or Teams or whatever it is that you use. And I want you to find the folks in your company that want to be on the right side of history. Basically, sit there, listen to the people talk about how they protested at No King's Day, and I want you to contact those people. And I want you to say, I think we should take a unified stand as employees of this organization, and we should definitely put something about apartheid in all of our auto signatures, right? Make sure this company knows our feelings about apartheid by putting it into our auto signatures, right? Go out there, find your peers, find managers, find team leads, whoever wants to be on the right side of history, make sure that they make their stand in those auto signatures. Something with the word, that has the word apartheid in it. And then what I want you to do is I want you to sit back and do nothing. For the love of God, do not put apartheid into your auto signature. And just wait for them to get fired. Wait for them to get fired. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of positions that are now open that you will have the ability to fill. Right? That's the thing, right? If you want to get promoted into a position and somebody is already in that position, you're just not going to get promoted in that position. The position is already filled. You got to get the asshole out of the position. In order for you to be promoted, there has to be an open position. If they are stupid enough to put apartheid in their auto signature, hey. And I don't know. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. I'm not saying this is a good timeline. I'm saying it's a timeline we've got. Anyways, how are you all doing? Oh, I'm feeling a little bit tired right now. I ran 10 miles, or no, not 10 miles. I ran 13 miles this morning. I'm training for a marathon now. I did my sixth half marathon, like a week and a half ago or whatever. And then I was talking to my buddy about it, and he's like, what about a marathon? And, I don't want to look like a pussy. So I said, sure. And so now I'm training for a marathon. Fuck. Anywho, that's one of the things too. Again, if you want to be more successful in life, find training buddies or battle buddies or whatever you want to call them so that you motivate each other to get ahead. Since neither of you wants to look like a pussy, then when somebody says something that the other one might not want to do, like, I really don't want to, but I don't want to look like a pussy. So fuck it. Okay. And then you go out and you start running, or doing whatever it is. So anyways, I did 13 miles this morning. I think next week's supposed to be 16 miles. In order to run a marathon, so with a marathon, what they say, so if you're going to run a half marathon, if you're going to do a race for a half marathon, you're supposed to do 13 miles. So practice to be able to do 13 miles. The issue is once you start doing marathons, they're long, right? They're 26.3 miles or whatever that is. Takes you a long time. Takes me a long time to run that far. I do about 10-minute miles on whatever. So what they tell you to do is you have to get up to 20 miles. It's like 80%. So 80% of 26 miles is like 21 miles. So basically, in order to train for the marathon, you have to get up to running 21 miles. And then the idea is, once you can run 21 miles, obviously you can run 26. At least that's what I've been informed. So anyways, I did my 13 today. Next week will be 15 or 16. A week or two after that, we'll try to get us up to 18. So maybe by August or so, we'll be up to 20. And yeah, then I won't look like a pussy. Yay! Anywho, that's not what you're here for. You're not here to listen to me talk about running around like a hamster. You're here to learn how Silicon Valley is getting even deeper into bed with the government, and more specifically, the Trump administration. And so this is just going to be curious. It's going to be curious. It's going to be weird. With that whole apartheid thing, I've talked about that before. You have all these, you have all the blue hairs, and they're all screaming about their company, right? They believe that they should be able to protest their company on company time with company systems while the company pays them. And I'm just trying to point out to people, I'm not sure why that worked a couple of years ago, but that's probably a bad idea for your career going forward. And the interesting thing is just to see like how deeply in bed Silicon Valley is getting with the Trump administration and the U.S. government at this point. There was kind of the idea, companies like Meta, right? Meta was a very consumer company, Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp, that type of thing. They're partnering with Anduril. So Anduril is basically a Silicon Valley weapons company. They're partnering with Anduril for a $30 billion contract to create XR systems for American warfighters. And think about that with Meta, right? You look at Microsoft, right? Microsoft has cloud infrastructure. Their cloud infrastructure is used by the Israeli government to do things. Hey, there's questions there. I'll leave it to the kids to argue about these questions. But they have cloud infrastructure. They have it for government services. If the governments are using it in questionable ways, where are the lines? Right? That's kind of like the old school Silicon Valley tech questions, right? The interesting thing was like when you look at Meta, and Meta is basically a completely consumer company, and now all of a sudden they're getting into warfighter systems. What? Where the hell did that shit come from? Anyways, and we see this with Anthropic. So Anthropic is an AI company. They just came out with their agents for their AI agents or AI systems, literally for national security intelligence work. So we saw that from Anthropic. And we're seeing more and more of just big tech really to a dystopian degree, to an actual dystopian degree, getting into bed with the government. And it appears that OpenAI is basically going down that route too, with I think it's a $200 million, let me scroll down here, I do believe it's a $200 million ceiling, but it is $200 million contract with the DoD to be able to use OpenAI for Department of Defense. And so it will be curious to see where this goes in the future. And the big thing, talk about this whole apartheid thing. I know some people get annoyed with it or tired of it, whatever. It's my shtick. It's my show. It's my shtick. That's how it goes. But I really want you to understand this is the business that these companies are going after. And in order to go after the business, you need a company culture that's willing to go after that business. I talk about that having been prior service, in 2000 when I got hired, my first IT job. It was very common back then for veterans and government people, whatever, to be in the civilian world doing tech work. And it was a mentality. One of the curious things that I find, having been in this field now since 1996, is just how the culture changed in the 2010s. And again, a very weird way. I can't, I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's wrong. I don't know if I'm a not boomer. But the idea of protesting my company while my company is paying, like literally while my company is paying the salary. I clock in and then I protest my company. It's just something I don't get it. I just can't conceive how that works. And I think what's curious to see is how the pendulum is shifting back to a more return on investment environment and going after government contracts. For a long time, the government was kind of shunned. I don't know if the government shunned big tech or big tech shunned government, but the idea was that government was old, slow, bureaucratic crap. Right? If you had given up on your tech career, the government was a good place to go to continue to pay the mortgage. But otherwise, basically the last thing you want to focus on was the government. And what's interesting to see in a very short time period is that it seems like most of these big tech companies are doing hard pivots towards the government. My argument with this is I think the economy is much worse than we're being told. Again, I call it an economic kerfuffle. I don't know whether it's a recession. There's something weird going on. It's been weird for years at this point. And one of the things with the government right now is that the government has a lot of money to spend. I mean, Elon Musk went in and did his Doge eviscerating of the federal government and apparently eliminated very little of the spending. Our budget deficits are going to continue to soar. So after Elon Musk fired hundreds of thousands of employees, the deficits are still going through the roof, right? So the government, whatever, by hook or by crook, they're still spending a lot of money. So if the consumer world is getting a little wonky about spending money, if the business world is getting wonky about spending money, because one minute you have 20% tariffs, then you have 145% tariffs, and you got 30% tariffs, and somebody goes, has a cry, and it's back to 50% tariffs or whatever else, business world's a bit wonky. Well, a lot of these tech companies, they're looking for where their next cash cow is, and it really does seem like it's going to be the government. The government is going to be outlaying a lot of money, right? The thing to be thinking about with why technology companies make money is we are about efficiency. Or we say we're about efficiency. What we're about at the end of the day is that's another story for another time. Anyways, we say we're about efficiency. So one of the things to think about is even with Doge, let's say Doge did what the hell it was supposed to do. Let's pretend Doge was not an abject failure that's not going to devastate our country for the next couple of decades. Anyways, the thing is, in order to fire people, you still need work to be accomplished, right? That's where we talk about efficiency, right? So 25 years ago, when all the telephone system receptionists got fired, basically en masse, we had these things called auto attendants, right? You can't simply fire receptionists, right? Somebody calls a company. Hello, who can I transfer you to? You still need that functionality. And so there are these things called auto attendants. So basically an auto attendant was a system that you could buy for about $1,000 plus maybe $400 per what was called a port. And that would replace a full-time employee. So you install auto attendants, you fire employees, right? So the people that are being fired, it sucks for them. But nobody cared about receptionists. Anyways, but it's good for me because I'm selling auto attendants, right? I'm selling auto attendants all day long, right? Telephone systems for me, minimum profit margin was $2,000 a pop for a pretty small system. Man, you're selling telephone systems all day long. You're making bank. Avaya's making bank. All these other companies are making bank at the exact same time. A lot of people are wandering behind 7-Eleven for the first time to figure out the economics of selling their bungholes behind one. So a big thing to be thinking about is there's this idea with a push for efficiency. And so in order to have efficiency, basically you reallocate where you're spending money, and therefore there's going to be a lot of money for AI. In order to eliminate all these employees, we're going to eliminate them because the functionality is going to come from AI, which means we're going to dump a lot of money into AI. So that's one of the things these big tech companies are going after, and why it's important to be thinking about this if you're with these companies, just to be tamping down the whole anti-red, white, and blue propaganda that you may have gotten used to over the years. Anyways, this is from OpenAI itself. So this is being reported many places, but we try to go back to the horse's mouth whenever we can. Introducing OpenAI for government. And this came out yesterday, my timeline. Today, we're launching OpenAI for Government, a new initiative focused on bringing our most advanced AI tools to public servants across the United States. We're supporting the U.S. government's efforts in adopting best-in-class technology and deploying these tools in service of the public good. Our goal is to unlock AI solutions that enhance the capabilities of government workers, help them cut down on red tape and paperwork, and let them do more of what they come to work each day to do: serve the American people. Punch another day on the clock until they can get their pension. OpenAI for Government consolidates our existing efforts to provide our technology to the U.S. government, including previously announced customers and partnerships, as well as our ChatGPT Gov product under one umbrella as we expand this network. Our established collaborations with U.S. national labs, the Air Force Research Laboratory, NASA, NIH, and the Treasury will all be brought under OpenAI for Government. Through OpenAI for Government, we are offering U.S. federal, state, state, and local governments access to our most capable models within secure and compliant environments, including through ChatGPT Enterprise and ChatGPT Gov. I think this is an important thing to be thinking about with your organization, or if you're trying to sell these types of AI products, thinking about compliant environments. So just like we have PCI compliance, so this is basically personal information when you do credit card transactions. So there's PCI regulations, there's HIPAA regulations for healthcare and that type of thing. One of the things that you should be considering is if you're looking to sell into the government space or any kind of regulated space, looking at what are the compliant products that exist for your customers, and trying to figure out how to sell them those and figure out what the price is, right? So if you just need to dump data somewhere, you can get Box or whatever, Dropbox or any of these places where you can drop files, and it's no big deal. You'll have relatively adequate security, but that's about it. And it'll cost you, let's say, $10 a month. One of the things to be thinking about is with compliant systems. So with compliant systems, they go through, they do auditing processes, they have to be up to snuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes along with that for like HIPAA or PCI. One of the things to realize with that is that might be like 5x the cost. And that's one of the things to be having discussion with your executives about when you're thinking about going down the AI route or any services route, is a lot of times your executives, they'll see a product, right? They were on the internet last night, or their kid started using this product for $5 a month, and so they want to use that $5 a month product for the company. You're like, yeah. Oh, that's not how licensing works. That's not how licensing works. So one of the things to be thinking about when you're talking to the stakeholders is basically trying to figure out for your organization company what regulations, what compliance level that your organization needs to be up to, and then start doing the research now on what those products actually look like. They may have a much smaller feature set than non-compliant, right? Every piece of functionality is a vulnerability, right? So if you have compliant services, they may have a lot less functionality because they don't want that additional vulnerability. The price might be a lot higher. There might be a lot of different things in there. So one of the things you need to be looking at is, okay, if we're thinking about AI, if we're thinking about these things, what is the regulatory environment my organization has to work within, and then start looking at what services actually are out there that provide the level of compliance for the environment you need to be in, and then understand how those things work. You may not be able to simply go to Box or Dropbox or something like that. You may have to go to Azure services, or you may have to go to AWS services, or you may have to use very specific vendors. Custom models for national security offered on a limited basis, hands-on support, insight into what's coming next so government customers can plan ahead and anticipate new ways to apply our tools to their most important work. We are proud to share that our first partnership under the new OpenAI for Government initiative will be a pilot program with the U.S. Department of Defense through their Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Office. This contract with a $200 million ceiling will bring OpenAI's industry-leading expertise to help the DoD identify and prototype how frontier AI can transform its administrative operations, from improving how service members and their families get health care to streamlining how they look at program and acquisition data to supporting proactive cyber defense. All use cases must be consistent with OpenAI's usage policies and guidelines. Pay me more money. Pay me more money, and you can do whatever you want. Across these efforts, we're aiming to improve both the day-to-day experience of public service and to help government employees feel more empowered, more efficient, and more supported in their critical missions. We are just getting started, and we look forward to helping U.S. government leaders harness AI to better serve the public. We are committed to working in close partnership with agencies, advancing their missions with powerful tools that are safe and secure. So they're going after this contract. Again, the DoD alone is $200 million. If they start trying to go after more and more and more contracts with the government, that will come out to billions and billions and billions of dollars a year. And so it's just one of those things to be thinking about with the world of big tech, who the current customers are, and then how you fit into that world. It's that whole thing I've talked about a lot, where when you go to work, you're a character. One of the interesting things that I find when I talk to diverse people, and I listen to them. I ask them questions and then I listen to them, right? Anyways, one of the curious things that I've heard many, many times like in DEI environments is this whole idea that white guys might want to be all, uniform and ticky-tacky, but I'm unique. You can't fit me in a box. Which is just funny. It's funny. It's like, oh, you're a racist too? See, everybody can be dumbass racists. Anyways, and the thing that I find, it's interesting, right? You hear this with black men and black women and gay folks, and there's this whole idea that white guys, we want to be a specific way. We are naturally all the same. But these other people, they have to show their colors. And then they complain because when they show their colors, nobody gives a damn. And one of the things I'll just keep hammering to your head, nobody cares about the authentic you. Nobody gives a crap about the authentic you. It's fascinating for me. I'm an Aspie. My childhood was bizarre. That's the only way to... Anywho. So I came out into early adulthood and had to figure out how to make sure I would keep getting fed. And so one of the things that I tried to figure out is how other people saw me. And many different situations, me being me, I'd ask questions, right? And what I realized is nobody cared. Right, I think about this with, I had one friend of mine, right? So I was going out and I was dating this girl. And she had a best friend. And so when we were dating, the best friend really disliked me because I was all like, rah, rah! Like I just do what I want to do. Like I have this whole thing, why not? A lot of people, you have to explain to them why they should do something. Oh, why should I do that? My thing is, if I have the time, if I have the resources, I have the ability, is there a reason I shouldn't do it? It got me a lot of interesting stories. So I just go and do whatever the hell I want to do, right? If it's not breaking the law or doing something immoral, ethical, it's like, oh, that sounds interesting. Sure, let's do it. So anyways, this best friend thought I was just bombastic and insane. It was just like, oh, he's a bad apple. Anyways, it was curious. I had my friend at the time, and we were very similar, but he actually was bombastic. He also didn't care much about the law. There's a story for when I was sitting there staring at his blood spatter at the end of the day. Anywho, but he was much more bombastic. A lot more fun too. A lot more fun because if you don't limit yourself to laws and morals. Anyways, so one day I was living in this house, and after graduated high school, so my friends and I, we all got this townhouse, and we're all paying like $150 a month. So we could rent a townhouse for like $700. We shoved 6 of us into this damn thing, and we're all paying like $150 a month to be there. Anyways, so one night I go down, and this best friend is one of the people that was living there, and she's like washing dishes or whatever. And I said something, and then she looks at me. She's like, you just need to relax. You just need to be more spontaneous and all this other crap. And I looked, I was like, what? Because now I was out of the house. Before, I was living at home because I was in high school when I was dating her friend. Now we were out of the house. We had jobs. We were having fun. Having fun when you can have fun with an actual 40-hour-a-week paycheck. Anyways, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And the interesting thing was, so when she said I was too bombastic, that was when she had not met my friend. At this point, my friend was living in the basement, and she really liked my friend. Anyways, and my friend had a lot of sex. Questionable sex. Very questionable sex. But anyways, don't know if that one happened. But anyways, she really liked my friend and all that kind of thing. And he was like bombastic. And so she started telling me that I needed to relax, even though I was about the same as I was before. And I said, well, wait a minute, what's changed? I'm actually more than I was before, blah, blah, blah. And you used to say, I was 2. And she said, oh, well, because I met your friend and she really liked my friend and he was even more. And so basically that was a thing. It was her perspective. It was not me. She did not see me. She saw the image of me that went through her prism. When I was dating her friend and we were in high school, she did not know truly bombastic people. Ergo, she looks at me and I'm too bombastic. You fast forward 8 months, she now had met more bombastic people. She looks at me, I'm not bombastic enough, right? That is not me. That is her perception of me going through the prism of her experiences, and what she decides is either is or is not favorable. Now, I'll just say in this whole discussion, nobody's been looking at my blood spatter, so I think I won that particular argument. But anyways, that's definitely a different story. The point that I make here is as time changes, people's perceptions change, people's values change, what they care about changes. And the important thing to understand is that most people do not see you. Most people do not give 2 shits about you. And they sure as shit don't want to deal with your authentic you, whatever the hell that is. And so in these professional environments, when you go in, you are playing a character. You are taking the components of you with your education, your training, your professional experience. You're taking your lived experience, you're mushing all this into a ball, and that is a character that you present in the workplace. It's important to understand as we move forward that you might want to start modifying that character a wee bit if you want to get promoted. If you don't want to get promoted, do what the fuck you want to do. If you want to get promoted, right? The whole anti-government thing, the whole anti-1% thing, the whole anti-military thing, the whole anti-whitey thing, right? It's been a big, cool, sexy, storyline for at least a decade now. What I'm cautioning you is the storyline for the people who are actually writing paychecks is going to be changing, right? I've been in this field long enough to have gone from being a veteran gets you 2 thumbs up and a free beer to being a veteran is, oh, don't you feel bad for what you supported, to, I would argue now, I think we're going back to being a veteran as, I don't know, we'll buy you a half pint. We'll buy you a half pint, right? And so just something one of those to consider and to think about, when you're going into these environments, because so many decisions that are made, right? It's about the feelings, and the feelings are built up over periods of time, right? So if you have a boss and you have a new contract that's most likely going to be a government contract, right? You're going to be sitting there thinking there's probably 5 people that you can pick to go after this government contract, either team lead, project management, or whatever else. And so if you've been with these people for a long period of time, right, things come out. Right? If you have somebody who's Snowden is right and everybody in the government is corrupt and I'm going to protest as much as I can on No King's Day, and then you have another person who's something, and they have another person who's either in the reserve or is veteran or whatever, who do you think the boss is naturally going to select for these different jobs, these different opportunities, right? If there was an opportunity with the LGBT or a BLM organization or movement from a couple of years ago, you might not want a red, my blood is red, white, and blue. My family has served in the military forever. I love America. You're probably not going to send them to be a representative on the LGBTQ, parade float, right? But if you're going after the military contracts or the government contracts, having those types of people might make a lot more sense. And so this is just something to be considering with how you're presenting yourself, how you're coming off, the things that you're talking about, so on and so forth in your organization. And understand that organization cultures change relatively slowly. So even if your company is going to get rid of the blue hairs, right? Blue hair relocation program. Like even if your company has already decided to have a blue hair relocation program, it's going to be a while before you can actually remove all of them. You have to get the little little marijuana gummy bears. You got to get them into the cages, and you close the cages, and then you put them in the trucks, and you got to move them away. There's a whole process to relocating blue hairs. It takes a while, right? Especially in the modern regulatory environment. You can't spook the blue hair. Anyways, it'll take a while. And so one of the things to consider too is how you are presenting yourself, is how you are coming off in the organization. Is it appropriate for where the organization is going, or is it appropriate for where the organization was? Right? How you acted in high school is not how you act in a corporate environment. The same mindset, corporate environments also do change. So anyways, there you go. There are some things to ponder. I'm sure I'm going to get some blue hair screaming at me. I wonder if we can do renewable energy of a blue hair rees. I don't know, just think about it. I mean, it's it is energy. It's it's like sonic waves. If you put 10 blue hairs in front of some kind of I don't know, sound absorbing material, maybe there's some kind of electrical stuff in there, and then you show them a picture of Trump, they all re at the same time. And how many houses can you light up for what period of time? For every 10 blue hairs who see an image of Trump. Do you think, how long can you run a television off of that? I don't know. I'm curious. Maybe you could surround the AI data centers, right? That's a big thing right now. The AI data centers don't have enough electricity. So maybe if you surround the AI data centers with all of these blue hairs, and then they start screaming at the data center, if you had some kind of sonic energy collectors, maybe you could then turn the blue hair into electricity to power the air conditioners? I don't know. These are the things that I ponder. These are the things Eli, the computer guy, ponders. Anyways, so what do you think about this? What do you think about OpenAI becoming even more embedded in the U.S. government? What do you think about them going after contracts for the DoD, coming up with specific services and models and things for national security and that type of deal? What do you think about the whole idea of inefficiency, right? You fire, a whole bunch of people go homeless, but a couple people become multimillionaires. What do you think about that? Tell me exactly what you think about that. Anyways, with that, put your thoughts down below, and I'll see you all later.